Welcome to Tales of the Getaway Guy. I'm Mike O'Brien. This is an adventure into 23 years of television getaways all across New York State and beyond. Our travels will also occasionally venture into my 23 years of radio days, where it all began, broadcasting. Hold on. This is going to be a bumpy ride. I've got everything you need for your next getaway, and we all love getaways. In fact, in today's getaway episode, we're going to cover fall getaways because 'tis the season. And I got to tell you, New York State is like one of the best places in the world for fall foliage. Fall is, in my opinion, the best time of year to travel around New York State. So we're going to cover some of those places, some of those that I covered on television with the Getaway Guy show on cable. We're going to take a question from one of our viewers, podcast viewers, and we'll also give you some travel tips along the way here too. So we're going to mix it all up. Again, this is our very first episode, and who knows where this will go. Joe, which camera am I on? Oh, okay, this one over here. No, this one here. I don't know. See, now he's playing with me just to loosen me up, and that's okay. I want to also thank Powers Farm Market, which, by the way, is another amazing fall getaway. If you've never been there before, this is a great place to take the family, the kids. All I think about in the middle of fall is the teepees. They actually take these huge teepee structures and they cover them in corn stalks, and wait until you go inside. I'm not going to give it away. By the way, they're doing a corn maze this year, which is brand new. That starts on October the 2nd at Powers Farm Market. And that's over on Gulf Avenue at the farm, Powers Farm. So it's just around the corner from the actual market itself on Marsh Road. But yeah, everything you can imagine. Look at the pumpkins. I mean, as far as you can see, they've got animals you can pet. They've got hay rides. They have, I mean, you name it, it's at the farm market. But this time of year, they make it so friendly and so warm for everyone to come and enjoy. And of course, your vegetables, your New York State apples, fresh baked goods, pies. But again, I love taking my grandkids to the teepees. I took my daughter there many, many years ago, and you go inside, it's kind of dark, and wait till you see what they've done inside. I'm not going to give it away. It's fun. And then there's an exit not too far away from the entrance. It's a good time. Powers Farm Market, a part of this show, and we're so glad that they are. A great getaway, Marsh Road, Pittsford, right near Gulf Avenue. I want to bring you some fall getaways that I think this time of year will be absolutely amazing as far as train rides are concerned. You know, we're very lucky to have train ride access all across our state. So these are old classic trains in some cases that you can get on board, and they take you through scenic byways of the Erie Canal and things of that nature. And we'll get specific here for you. I've got my notes. I did my homework this morning, and now I can't remember a thing. But we're going to start with the Adirondack Scenic Railroad. This is the first one. This is a great fall foliage train ride from Utica and then over to Old Forge area, Thendara. It is a 5-hour excursion, and it is wheelchair accessible. I always get that question. Handicap accessibility is very important for a lot of people, but this is a great getaway through fall foliage. Again, it's a long one. They have coach first class, they have premier, and I would call ahead or go to their website, AdirondackRR.com, and find out what is available because tickets go like really fast. In fact, I went to their website this morning. Today, we're recording. It's September the 18th. And I'll tell you, a lot of the fine seats are gone already. So in any of these fall train rides, the moment you hear about this and you think you want to do it, get to the website, order your tickets online. That's how most of them are doing it. Don't waste time thinking about it. Just do it if this is what you want to do. But I highly recommend it. When the fall colors, when the leaves change, it's just extremely amazing to go through that on a train. It's a great experience. That's the Adirondack Scenic Railroad. Then there's the Arcade Attica Railroad. heading toward Buffalo, west of Rochester. 2 hours, 20-minute ride through western New York along scenic areas near Buffalo. You stop halfway, you get off the train. It's Saturdays and Sundays from the 2nd of October to the 17th of October. Wednesdays, they do rides for senior citizens. $22 for adults, $19 for kids, 2 to 12. Unvaccinated are asked to wear their masks. Again, go to their website to obtain tickets, aarailroad.com. That's the Arcade Attica Railroad, aarailroad.com. And you know, with all of these getaways, be sure that you do call ahead. Find out their rules and regulations for COVID, because everything is changing, number one, and everyone has some different requirements. So as soon as you decide to do any of these getaways, or any getaway in general, call your destination, find out exactly what their policies are regarding that, because you don't want to go there, unprepared. Another great fall foliage getaway on a train at the Rochester Genesee Valley Railroad Museum, Rush, Scottsville. This is really nice. They're doing an October pumpkin patch train ride on an authentically restored vintage train. This is really nice. Weekends, October 16 and 17, October 23rd and 24th, and October 30th and 31st. You've got to reserve your tickets online at rgvrm.org. That's rgvrm.org. Kids travel through the pumpkin patch. They also get a little pumpkin to take along with them. They're doing all sorts of fun things. And again, the beauty of the fall foliage on the Rochester and Genesee Valley Railroad Museum in Rush, Scottsville. The museum's pretty incredible, too. Another one, for those that are out Medina way or want to travel to Medina, train excursions at the Medina Railroad Museum. First of all, they've got, speaking of railroads, they've got a great a model railroad display that people come from all around to check out. So if that's something that you are into, and I know many people during my getaways on TV are really into model railroads, and they've got one of the best in Western New York. So you might want to check that out. Train excursions at the Medina Railroad Museum. As far as the train is concerned for fall foliage, it's a 2-hour round-trip ride through wooded scenery and fall foliage right along the Erie Canal from Medina. This is 530 West Avenue in Medina. $23 to $37 per ticket. Coach and first class. Order online, and you'll be able to pick up your tickets when you arrive at the destination in Medina. So your tickets will be there. They ask that you come 1 hour early before your train time. But again, if you're there early, an hour early, check out the goodies in the museum. So the Medina Railroad Museum getaway, October 16 and 17, the 23rd and 24th, and October the 28th. At 10 a.m., 12:30, 3 p.m., they have 3 train rides each day on those weekends. And it's well worth it. It really is. And the kids love it, just being on the train, and then throw in to boot the amazing fall foliage. Another one is the New York Museum of Transportation. This is a find on East River Road. It's probably a half hour out of Rochester, maybe not even a half hour. It's closer than you think. And the New York Museum of Transportation is at 6393 East River Road in West Henrietta. You head down East River Road past RIT, keep going, and you're there before you know it. You can ride a vintage electric trolley car. I know, that sounds bizarre, but they've got one. Now, I'll tell you, the museum there is more than you can imagine. When I did a few shows back in the day of doing getaways on TV, I was there frequently because they'd always have some sort of weekend event. But when I started discovering what they had, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have stuff that I can't even imagine. They have an old Greyhound bus. But again, this is transportation stuff in New York State, and to boot, the electric trolley. It's a vintage trolley car, and it's a great ride. It's a great ride to check out the fall foliage. To get your tickets, remember, you go to their website, nymtmuseum.org. That's nymtmuseum.org, the New York Museum of Transportation. And their rides are 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. And again, they're doing it on October the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, and the 31st. So I think the biggest point here is to go online to any of these getaways for fall foliage train rides, find out the specifics for yourself. And then, because for me, it's hard to keep all this straight because they all have different dates, different times, regulations, ticket prices. It varies. So just go to the website, get your tickets. But like I say, just another Getaway Guy reminder and a very important travel tip, make sure you get this stuff right away because tickets are gone already in a lot of the classifications. So, hopefully you'll be able to do this. And if you can't do it this time around, plan it for next year. But those are some of the fall getaways that I love because of the fall foliage and this time of year. Things are starting to change already. I was on the New York State Thruway yesterday heading for Buffalo, and already I'm seeing some of the trees change to a crimson color and reds, and just briefly. But in the month of October, particularly the end of October, that's when stuff's really at its peak here in our area. If you're going up into the Adirondacks, it peaks earlier. So a couple of things to remember. So, today's our first podcast, and it's all about getaways, and it always is. We also have an email address, MiketheGetawayGuy @gmail.com, and you can go there to ask me questions. I want you to, because I want a question. I want to be able to answer it. And one of the questions we just saw recently at MiketheGetawayGuy @gmail.com is, where did your broadcasting career begin? Now, okay, this did come from my sister, but no, just kidding. It's that was supposed to be funny, and no one's laughing here. Oh, because I'm alone. So where did it begin? It began a long time ago. So I'm going to kind of give away my age here. It began in the early 70s, 1973, at a radio station called WSAY. By the way, I lived in Painted Post, Southern Tier. Painted Post, Corning, and a lot of people have never heard of Painted Post. When I went to college at Farmingdale, people asked me, where are you from? And I told them Painted Post, and they walked away. They didn't know what I was talking about. But that's where I was from, am from. But I moved to Rochester because the flood of 72 wiped out Painted Post and Corning. I had nothing left. I was studying to be a Corning Museum of Glass, by the way, another getaway, a Corning Museum of Glass tour guide. And I had my lines rehearsed, memorized, and then the flood came and took away my job. And it was a disaster down there. I mean, it was awful. So I came to Rochester. My sister turned me on to a place called Columbia School of Broadcasting, which doesn't exist anymore in Rochester. But I took the course. I got a phone call from WSAY. They were looking for someone to do the afternoon show as Jerry Jack. You had to be Jerry Jack no matter who you were. You couldn't use your own name. And that's where it began. 1 year on WSAY AM radio. I was awful. My sister said she listened to me with a friend when I first got on the air, as family members would do. She said, oh my God, it was awful, Mike. It was really bad. I went, okay, I get it. So I went from there to WBBF radio. Come on, you all know BBF, right? And I was there for like 8 years, the best years of my life in radio broadcasting. And there I was Mike O'Brien. So I was, kind of who I really am. I could use my own name. And from WBBF, I did just a brief stint in Tampa, St. Petersburg on a morning show called The Rude Awakening, WQXM. It doesn't, I think it's all different now, but that was just for like 7 months because I came back to Rochester after experiencing a Tampa, St. Petersburg summer. Gee, that's fun. Nope, I want to live here. But sometimes you don't know it till you leave. And so I left and brought my whole family back to Rochester and worked for WVOR, FM radio, for 11 years. And then it turned into broadcasting on TV That's when I got the job on Our News, 1995. And I spent 23 and a half years there as your getaway guy. That was fun. So I went from radio to TV, and I enjoyed the transition very much. And now I'm doing podcasts. So, and maybe one day you'll be able to see videos on our YouTube channel. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. I want to also mention, before you go on any getaway and you're up early in the morning, go to one of my favorite places in Rochester. I was just there this morning. Jim's on Main Street. Jim's is unbelievable. If you want a good breakfast cheap, boy, that's the place to go. Great breakfast. Late riser is what I get. There's the picture of it right there. I think that's a late riser. Coffee refills, you never have to ask. Elena and the family run this operation. They've been doing it for many years, and boy, do they run a great family operation. A tip here: to miss the lines, go on weekdays, or on the weekends, do it maybe before 10 a.m. in the morning. Other than that, it's pretty crowded on the weekends. Cash only. They only take cash. So don't bring your credit card. They won't be able to take it. But they do have an ATM on the premises. You can park right next door at Blackfriars Theater. They've got a parking lot right there, but it's on Main Street, East Main Street, downtown, kind of across from the Delta Sonic. 785 East Main Street, breakfast and lunch. They also have a restaurant, same thing, Jim's at the mall at Grease Ridge, breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. So 2 locations, great food, Jim's. I highly recommend. I take all my friends there, and then they end up going without me later on. I don't know if that's good or not, but I love the soundtrack. See, I knew this was going to be good. Because that's the only person that would laugh is if it's recorded and we insert. Where else do we go? Another one comes to mind, the gorge at Watkins Glen. I don't know if you've ever been there. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stair climbing there, but you don't have to climb. You can go down the stairs. Here's the travel tip at the gorge at Watkins Glen. You park your car down at the bottom, take the shuttle bus to the top, and walk down. And then your car's waiting for you at the bottom, because there's like 830 some steps, stone steps. But wait until you see this experience. You're surrounded by waterfalls. You're going behind them. You're going around them. You've got a stone bridge to cross. But amongst all of this great natural beauty, on this fall getaway, you've got the colors of fall foliage. So this is the time to do Watkins Glen, the gorge at Watkins Glen, and hike down those steps. You're going to love it. Take the hand of the little ones, because it's pretty steep stuff, and you've got waterfalls and drop-offs and things like that. So just a word to the wise. And again, any of these getaways, call ahead, find out what their regulations are with COVID and all for your protection. Talk about great food. One of our partners here in today's show is where I had dinner a couple of nights ago. And it's called Nino's Pizzeria. Okay? Can I say hole in the wall on Culver near Merchants? But those are the best places. They've been there for 50 years. I've been going to Nino's for 40 some years. Boy, have I aged myself. But Sicilian thick pizza, I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me? This stuff is so good. It's the best pizza I've ever had. And, it's not knocking thin New York style pizza. That's great too. But when you go to Nino's, you get thick Sicilian style pizza. That's what I think you should order, frankly, my opinion. They're on Culver Road, 1330 Culver Road. Again, it's near Merchants. But Nino's is a fantastic place if you want good, thick Sicilian stuff. So what I get, and they know me by heart now, when I call, they know exactly what I want. And so I can never change my order. They just go, thanks, Mike, see you in half an hour, boom. And I'm going, well, wait a minute, no, I can't. So I always get a medium pizza pie, and I get it with Italian sausage, which they make their own Italian sausage. I get it with red roasted peppers and sauteed onions. Mamma mia. It's like the best pizza ever. And here's the deal. Forget the medium. Go with a large, because you know what you get the next day? Your leftovers in aluminum foil in your refrigerator. And I guarantee you it's even better than the night you got it. okay? You got to do Nino's, my favorite place for great, thick Sicilian-style pizza. Tell them the Getaway Guy sent you. Jimmy, I call him Giacomo. There's some nice people, and again, they've been there forever, and you should see, people come from all over to get a Nino's. So I highly recommend it. If you're hungry for pizza, do Nino's. What else do we have? Fall getaways. You know, many of the New York State getaways are places that you would normally go in the winter. And one of them is Bristol Mountain. But you can go there during the fall season and go on the Comet Express. It's the chairlift, no snow, but fall foliage like you can't believe. And you take it all the way to the summit at the top. And you come back down. And it's such a great, unique fall getaway to check out the colors of fall. I love it. Kids can go. Families can go. Bristol Mountain, Route 64, Canandaigua is their address. And everyone knows where Bristol Mountain is pretty much. They also have an aerial adventure park, and that's amongst the trees. That's at the top. Yeah, go to their website, Bristol Mountain. Go to their website, and you'll see the hours and the days. I do know this. It's through October, and it's Saturdays and Sundays only. Get your tickets, and then they'll be ready for you. Now, you can take a chance and try to get tickets when you arrive there, but it's probably not a good idea. You want to get your reservation in so that you don't have any difficulties once you get there. And again, kids can go, but if you're 2 and under, I believe, car seats are definitely recommended for those kids. In fact, it's a must. But I think you can fit 4 to a seat. And up you go through the fall foliage. Now, I don't remember the last time I've been on a ski lift because I don't ski. So this is your opportunity to do it. It's kind of fun. You have to get on and off yourself. But I like the fact that you can ride this and not ski because I don't like skiing. I tried it once and I went, no, I'm freezing, number one. And I can't get down the hill. So where's the fun? So that's me. But I have friends who are avid skiers and love it and can't believe that I don't enjoy it. But that's me. What else we got? Rock City Grit. If you need a little, we're we're heading toward the end of the year, and you might want some personal training, 1-on-1 and 2-on-1 personal training sessions. Plus group HIIT boot camp classes. Rock City Grit, they're new. Here to assist you on your personal fitness journey. We believe in fitness for everyday life. rockcitygrit@gmail.com. Tell them the Getaway Guy sent you, but it's really good. If you want to take care of yourself, personal training is kind of a cool idea, and 2-on-1 is a cool idea. And even the group sessions are great too. rockcitygrit@gmail.com. And they're a proud sponsor of our podcast. We are searching for other things. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Watkins Glen. When you head down to Watkins Glen, if you're taking Route 14, the west side of Seneca Lake, what I do is I take the thruway to Geneva. I exit there, and then I take Route 14 along the lake with the wineries, and it's all there. But if you're hungry, I found a place that I did a getaway on probably about 5 years ago. It's called the Wienery. Not the winery, the Wienery, a little play on the word there. And you are amongst the wineries on Route 14, but in Dundee. Stop, if you're hungry, stop at the Wienery. It was one of my shows because it was so unique. Some of the best food I've ever had, but, locally sourced meats for hot dogs and sausages and burgers. And there's even a wine cooler with hit and miss bottles of wine from French to, when's the last time you had a glass of nice French red wine with a hot dog? But it all makes sense once you're there. So that's another kind of travel tip for you, the Wienery, Route 14, Dundee, on the way down to Watkins Glen. I apologize for laughing at all my jokes. My mom used to hate it when Red Skelton laughed at his own jokes, and she used to hate him for that, and now I'm doing it. So I feel bad, but and no one knows who Red Skelton was. That's probably way long ago that no one cares. But I've had a fun time with this first podcast, Getaways, And again, if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer on the show, MiketheGetawayGuy at gmail.com is the place to go. We want you to subscribe to the podcast, of course, and we'll have good stuff all the time. In fact, next episode, I think I'm going to get into some haunted getaways. Every October on Channel 9, I used to do haunts, and it was real, honest to goodness, haunted places not far from here, many of which you can visit today if you dare. So I think next time around we'll do some haunted getaways. So that's something to look forward to. I want to thank our paid advertisers today, Powers Farm Market, Marsh Road, Pittsford, Jim's on Main. By the way, Powers Farm Market, another thing that they do there that I just love so much, not only the teepees and not only the pumpkins and the fresh baked goods and the new corn maze. That's what I wanted to talk about. They're starting that new this year, and that starts on October the 2nd. So it's like a new thing for them. And I'm telling you, everything they put their hands on, they do it so well. They also have the haunted hay rides. So, and it's merry, not scary. It's not awful scary for the kids. It's just enough to have fun with. And that's what I like about it. It's such a great family getaway. They're open every day starting at 9:30 in the morning. And you could spend a couple of hours there and just have a good time, but you got to go in the teepees, and I'm not going to tell you what's in there. Okay, Powers Farm Market, 161 Marsh Road, Pittsford, just down the road from Fairport Road. One of our proud participants today on the show, along with Jim's on Main and Jim's at the Mall, Nino's Pizzeria, Culver Road in Rochester, and Rock City Grit Personal Fitness Training. We appreciate their support very much for being a part of this first episode of The Getaway Guy, Tales of the Getaway Guy. Next episode coming up in just a couple of weeks. I think you'll enjoy that. I want to thank Jim at Classy Wolf. Until next time, for Tales of the Getaway Guy, I'm Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy.